This is a show about facing fear, unlocking courage, and taking action.
Courage isn't necessarily a daunting thing.
It's going to give you more purpose. It's going to give you more drive.
It feels like making a courageous decision is going to get you closer to who you aspire to be.
It's knowledge plus faith plus action equals courage.
And I think being an entrepreneur, it is a spiritual, courageous journey because you are stuck with you, yourself, and you. You are stuck with your own habits, belief systems. You have to do the things you don't feel like doing every day. And I think it takes courage to override that natural reaction that many of us have as humans.
I have been very much looking forward to this conversation. And the reason I can confidently share that is, one, usually when somebody I don't know is coming on the podcast, I'll try to set up like a half hour. All right, who's this person? Like, let me get to know them. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I think we're going to jive, right? People I do know, it's an easy thing. It's a conversation. But Amy Woodall, you kind of now fall in the middle. Like, we're not besties. We could be besties. Do you agree?
I agree. We could be.
Right? Like the very first time we were introduced, I think we spoke for an hour, and it was, what I liked most about you was, like, you've been on your own journey, but you know who you are, and you're not afraid to show that person to the world. It's like, take it or leave it. I'm Amy. Some people like that, who are like that, they don't have awareness, and it's like, oh, this person doesn't know. That's not you. Like, you're very aware of where you might be messy and where you might be strong. And I've always felt similarly for me, like, you know, my old strategist, Sterling Doak, shout out to Sterling Doak, used to say, embrace your freckles, which I used to have freckles. Embrace your freckles, right? And like, this is me. And I felt that immediately from you. You weren't afraid to be yourself. This might be foreshadowing in case your dogs go bonkers.
Yeah,
I also I remember like your dogs were going bonkers and we had to keep moving to wherever you were. But along my journey, I fell in love with the word courage. And along your journey, you fell in love with the word conscious. And let's start with that. Well, first of all, it's great to see you. How you doing?
Hi, hello. Good to see you. Glad to show swap. So thank you for having me on. It's exciting.
Rotate. And by the way, that was never the deal, right? It wasn't like, hey, I'll come on your show, you come on mine.
Right.
It was like, oh, we actually really like each other. I really love what you're doing and what you're building, and how I feel about courage. Like I said, is how you feel about your world with conscious. But like, get us to that word for you. Like, if you want to go origin story, permission granted.
Yeah.
Love to hear it.
Yeah. Ooh. So, origin story. I spent like a decade and a half of my career in charge of performance, like being a performance coach, going in organizations and helping them with like sales and service and leadership and, you know, just helping them get to a new level. And I feel like we're probably hardwired very similarly, Ryan. I'm a root cause girl, and I hate slapping Band-Aids on things, even if it's great tactics. If we can't get to the root of something, I feel frustrated and like I let people down at the end of the day. And so through that perspective of like, that's just how I show up, I would be like, all right, we're helping people, you know, improve sales. It's great. But I would still have leaders say, my biggest problem is they're putting out fires because sales and service hate each other. And you know, like there was still a lot of these like internal problems and challenges, no matter how great of tactics we brought. And so I really became a drama nerd, to be honest with you, which is funny because I was voted drama queen in high school, probably for different reasons.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. A badge. I should have gotten best hair. It was a whole scandal. That's another podcast. But anyways, so I started really becoming like a drama nerd and researching what is the root of drama? Where does this come from? And simultaneously, probably similar to your journey, like I was on my own path of being like, wow, I have lived my life thinking that I would be happy when I just hit the next whatever. I was good at kicking the can down the road. Like when my kids are this age, when I, you know, when I make this much money, when I whatever. I was like kicking the can. So I was at a place where I was exhausted by that. And I was doing some just self-discovery, deeper inner work, and really learning, how do I create such a solid relationship with this human that is me, that I am stuck with for my whole life. And so in organization, some of the stuff started to meld together. It was like, oh shit, I'm starting to realize the root of result begins within. So like no problem or challenge or drama even is created until it starts in the mind of the people. And then it's amplified in organizations. So kind of a long story to say, I started teaching this and clients wanted more and more and more. And they're like, what is this? We love this stuff because we were getting to the root. And I had to take a step back and say, well, what the hell is it? What are we doing? And it really was teaching consciousness as a habit, the habit of looking and understanding ourselves in a way that, assessments alone and typical self-awareness had not done for organization. So to me, that's the root of all of it, consciousness.
Well, as we get into this, I do my homework, and I want you to know, and maybe I want to be the first to say happy fifth birthday,
Thank
because
you.
as of November, Conscious Habit is 5 years old.
Yes.
That's not a small number. I just had Dave Hirsch on the show. Dave Hirsch, he's it's so weird. Like, this is crazy, Amy. Like the last 3 or 4 guests I've had on have also, as I'll use your language, kicked the can down the road and then realized, is that a can over there? Like, do I have to kick this can? And Dave was in the same camp, but more on helping entrepreneurial, like, founders realize the statistic he gave was 10% of businesses make it, but over 80% of founders believe they'll make it. And so the chasm is not small, right? And so let's honor the 5-year mark, because that's not small. Bravo. You're based in Indianapolis. Are you from there originally?
Yeah. Born and raised in the Hoosier State.
Okay. Yes. Here's another little fast fact. You've got 50% of the U.S. population that lives 50 miles from where they were born, and the other 50% don't. But I think, I don't want to stereotype, but I wouldn't put you in the I need to stay close to home version. I feel like you are an adventurist. Is that a word?
Sure.
Let's go with it. So why Indianapolis for you?
Well, here's the thing. My life story, here was the plans for me. I was going to be a big city girl in the fashion industry. I was going to move to New York. I was going to move to LA. I did not go to college. I skipped college. I didn't have time for that. I had career plans ahead. Instead, I went straight to retail. I knew what my path was going to be. And I was so like, it's so funny. I didn't know how scared I should be, right? Because that's the beauty of an undeveloped brain at 19 years old. You don't know how scared you really should be. So that was my plan. I was not going to live in Indiana. I was like, no, I'm meant for the big city. When I was 21, I bought my first house at 20. When I was 21, I got pregnant with my first child. And I was like, I never even thought about being a mom. To be honest with you, I didn't like kids prior to that. I was very driven. By the way, to your audience, I just want you to know, I adored my child the moment that I held him in my arms. My whole life changed. My whole life changed. I was like, oh my God, I love this being more than it unlocked what love truly meant. I never knew the true meaning until I had him. And so, of course, my life changed. And so I was like, well, that's not it's not going to be in the cards, because now my number one priority is him. And I do want to be around family. I want to raise my kids around family and have the support system. So yeah, that shifted for me. But you know what? Here's the other bonus. We are in our early 40s. My husband is 45. I am 22. And our youngest son is getting ready to graduate high school. And we're going to be empty nesters at such a young age. It's
rub it in.
wild.
Rub it in.
Yeah.
I have a 9-year-old, okay, and an 11-year-old, and I have a 2-year-old, but the 2-year-old's a dog, so that doesn't. That's different. So let's go back though, because somewhere between 19-year-old version of Amy and Empty nester Amy, right?
I
Because
know. Wild.
there's there was kicking the can down the road, and there were choices made to jump off that train. So, is there like a specific experience where maybe you felt fear, but yet you chose to act courageously? And you know, I think I'm still thinking about this with the lens of the origin story,
Mm,
where it gave you the courage to sort of shift, and
mm.
the path shifted, and obviously it made a massive impact on the journey. Is there a specific moment you remember?
Oh my God, every day. I feel like fear comes in every day, all the time in different ways. Yes, in different ways. I've been an entrepreneur since I was 24. My first company was called Image Savvy. I was did image consulting. I was trying, holding on to that like retail dream and learned soft skills from there. That's scary to put yourself out there. It was scary to tell people I didn't have a college degree. I'm the only one, my siblings both have them. I was so afraid of the judgment. And so I just worked really hard and studied on my own, became truly an expert in human behavior and studied neuroscience and just wanted to understand everything I could about how humans work inside and out. And then I realized people who are way smarter than me pay me a good amount of money to give them advice. And I am often a safe place for them to bring all their hard things and help them untangle them. But that's scary to sort of say, I'm going to be vulnerable. And these people have to know that, like, no, I'm not. I don't have my psychology degree. Yeah, I think every day. And I think being an entrepreneur, it is a spiritual, courageous journey because you are stuck with you, yourself, and you. You are stuck with your own habits, belief systems, your own systems. And you have to do the things you don't feel like doing every day. And I think it takes courage to override, that natural reaction that many of us have as humans.
All right, let's go back to the big word. Let's go back to your C versus my C, right? Like,
Uh-huh.
how did you sort of fumble, stumble, figure out that was the word? How did you figure out conscious was the word for you? Why that word?
I think it's just what it means to me and also what it means for all of us. So because I am an expert in human behavior, like I said, I've spent the last decade and a half, even in performance improvement, my job was to help understand humans and help humans decode themselves and others. That's 95% of our daily lives is spent with our unconscious and subconscious mind running. So we are just this amalgamation of patterns that happen over and over again. We don't see that or know that, number one, because it's hard to see the picture when you're in the frame. And number two, it's because the outer world seems like it's changing, but our inner world is exactly the same. And so that 5% of consciousness, to me, that place where we can recognize, we can shift, we can own our shit, we can, make change happen, that happens in the 5% of consciousness. And I think even bigger than that, consciousness is like a mystery to even like we don't even all like fully understand where conscious thinking comes from. We understand how subconscious and unconscious happens, but we don't even understand where like conscious downloads come from. So to me, it's sort of this fun place of where possibility and change, it is the place where it exists, is in the conscious mind.
I mean, but again, the business itself, you're 5 years in on this latest,
Yeah.
but I'm sure you landed on this word long before 5. So were you in your last life? And again, you came out of training. I love you said sales and service despise each other.
They do. They always do.
All right, so I'd love to hear like a little, how do you bring people together, right? Like, how do you do it? All right, but let's stay on the word. So how much time went by between your curiosity with the word and the company?
I don't know that it was the word at first, but then it made sense when it came to me. When I'm like, what is this thing? Because, okay, I'm teaching mindfulness, I'm teaching ownership. I'm big on extreme ownership, but like no one is in charge of how you think, feel, and respond but you. And we put the burden on the world to control that for us. So, like, okay, deep ownership. I'm also teaching love. And it seems like such a touchy-feely subject, but in truth, it's almost always what's missing. And like even in organizations, in leadership teams, it's almost always what's missing. So when I look at those things, they're like, we're teaching awareness, we're teaching mindfulness, We're teaching people how to regulate and understand themselves. We're teaching, ownership. What is that? What does that require? All of that requires consciousness. And so conscious habit and the formula that we teach, a formula that is like, how do I break down to lean into this conscious self? It totally made sense. And then it felt like, yes, that's my whole life. It was like my word found me. Maybe similar
Yeah.
to you.
That's I like how you said that. And by the way, last week, while I was supposed to be on vacation, there was an edit on a book that I'm working on about self-talk. And I have a couple partners on it. One of the partners in particular, Susie Burke. Hello, Susie. Big shout out to her. She had tightened up a draft. And one of the things we were talking about was love.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, it's almost like you have to defrost the leader, take the leader out of the freezer, right? Like, don't even mention the word yet. They're not ready. They're not ready for that word, right? Until, okay, now they've marinated them a little bit. And then you're like, okay, they might finally be ready to receive this idea that it's love, that it's love. And the point we had made a point earlier that like, it sounds silly to say that leadership first starts with self-leadership.
Yes.
Right. And like knowing how to lead yourself. And once you have self-leadership, what we're really talking about here, okay, we've taken them out of the freezer, right? Is self-love. And
truly, yes.
Right. And but that is like, I'm sure 50% of the listeners were like, pause, I'm out.
It's
delete.
Yeah.
Why are we like this? What happened to us?
It's I think it's because it feels vulnerable to admit that or to say that. It feels touchy-feely, and in the workplace in general has been built to be very masculine. I don't mean by all dudes, by the way. I mean masculine energy is designed to be get shit done, grind, let's go, let's innovate, let's kill it, which is great. We need that. Feminine energy is what people are craving, which is why people are so burned out, because we've overused the masculine. It's needed and necessary, but people are crashing and burning because we're missing the other side, the empathy, the compassion, the love, the humanity. We're not fully missing it. It's coming around. Many companies are doing this. But the thing I'm most proud of is to make consciousness relatable. And it doesn't matter if I have spoken to a group of roofers or heart surgeons. Everybody is like leaning in because we're talking about being human. And so when I ask leaders, what do you want to feel? What do you want your life to be like? I don't want to just talk about your goals, because you want to hit those goals because there are some core desired emotions attached to those. What do you want? And the emotions that they share, the feelings, I want to feel fulfilled. I want to feel at ease. I want to be able to take a deep breath. I want to feel some level of like peace. I want to feel proud of myself, etc. I'm like, great. What are we avoiding? They give me the list of all of those things. And I say, those fall under two categories, love and fear. That's it. That's it. There is in the middle of apathy, which that sucks. If you ask me, I'd rather feel like pissed than apathetic. But so we get them to see like, oh yeah, duh. It really is that. And then the bigger thing, like we are inside out leadership. So the relationship you have with yourself is equal to that you can have with the world, because the world is your mirror. That is also how our brain operates. So getting people to realize your lack of love and compassion for you is keeping you separate from everything you desire to have out there. People lean in more. They tend to lean in more, but it does take some, you're right. We got to slowly walk them there.
Well, I mean, what I wonder is, because it's front and center for both of us, are the soft skills really the hard skills? Like, is that the hardest component? And then, I also balance that with the balancing act of being vulnerable. Like, how do you balance being vulnerable with demonstrating strength as a leader, right? Like, and strength doesn't mean rock, scissors, paper, rock, right? It's like, in fact, strength most likely means being vulnerable and being the mirror and letting your team see that from you. But also, where do we hold firm on like, no, guys, we need to go this way, not that way. So when you work with leaders, like, talk me through your assessment process. Like, how do you know, when it's time to diagnose someone? When is the patient really ready to receive the diagnosis?
Oh yeah, being coachable is important. It's really the number one thing. So we identify self-awareness, where are people, and there is an emotional intelligence component to all of this as well. Just, do I have an awareness, and do I give a damn? Typically, if people are calling us in, like, we're not their first stop. You're not going to be like, we've never done any kind of training. Let's start with consciousness. It's like, it's a little bit deeper. Chances are they've done some stuff and they say, this is good, but we want to get stickier. And again, we partner with a lot of other leadership development companies because we're going to come in and teach a few layers deeper than the tactical stuff, help that foundation be built, and then they can do the other pieces on top. But it is a very open conversation. We have an application process that people have to fill out because we want to make sure that it's good, that we're all on the same page. And very early on, a big important part of our process is helping people identify their ego. And so by having an assessment where people can help identify when their ego creeps in, we then get a chance to call it out when it starts to create barriers in the coaching and training that we're doing. That's usually what most of us are faced with. Our ego is, a guest on my podcast named it the bitch in the attic, and it has just stuck. And I absolutely love that description. But the bitch in the attic can get in the way of us being able to, move into our most conscious self.
All right, we're going to play a game. You ready?
Yes, let's do it.
All right, here's the game. The game is, I'm going to say a scenario that you work in, and I am the audience, and so is the listener, right? But you have to give me just one sentence, the journey you're going to take me on. Okay?
Okay.
You following?
I will see.
Here we go. It's a game. It's a game. So I'm in the audience for an Amy keynote.
I'm one sentence. This is what I'm stuck on, Ryan.
Hey, it's a game. It's just a game.
Ooh, you're going to go on a path of learning how to own your shit like never before, and also love yourself like never before.
I like it. I like the own your shit for sure. I also like the run. I like how you made like, oh, I have more. And way to work that in. Nice.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. I am on a retreat with Amy Woodall. First of all, how many of us are there?
25-ish. Yeah.
Male, female, or
female?
Okay. So Ryanetta is on a
Ryanetta,
retreat.
welcome.
And in one sentence,
you are going to let go of years of shit you didn't know you were still carrying.
So I know your company is called The Conscious Habit, but should it be the Conscious Habit shit?
Yeah. Shit? Honestly, own your shit is like that's like a personal tagline of mine. I have a book in the works. It's like this. I'll release it in 5 years. Who knows? But it's about owning your shit. Yeah.
Well, I love the acronym of that. OIS. Oys. Right?
Oys.
Oys. All the oys. Own your shit, people.
Yes.
All right. I am the president of a company, and you are coming in to consult.
We are going to help you and your organizational team lead beyond your egos so you can collectively serve the greater good.
All right. So we talked a little bit about ego. Interesting that it shows up there.
Mm-hmm.
How much short-circuiting do you need to do in each of those three scenarios? And by the way, I love that you used the word coachable earlier. It's top 5 word for me. And it's not like a corporate thing. Like if my kids were here, I'll be like, hey, how coachable are you being right now?
Mm-hmm.
So I love that word no matter what. So I love that you use that. But, sometimes when someone might not be coachable, you have to choose your words wisely, right? Sort of like glitch them. You got to glitch them a little bit. And I think ego is a good glitch word as someone hearing that from you, like viscerally, like, oh, but tell me what that does when you use that word in that environment.
You have to describe what it really means because people get ego wrong. I mean, that's it. They think the loudest, most obnoxious person beating their chest, telling everybody how great they are. That is one version of ego. every human has ego. So you really have to break down like, what does it mean? And so quickly, just for the audience, in case they're like, oh, it doesn't mean the person banging their chest. What does it really mean? If you stop talking, that voice within you that always has something to say, and it tends to be judging you and other people. There's a lot of like automatic judgments that come in. It tends to play small. It wants to place blame. It needs somebody to be wrong. It needs us to be better than them, et cetera. It creates a lot of division. That is when ego is operating, and ego gets triggered in different ways. I think our ego is the part of us that keeps us disconnected from knowing we never had to prove we were good enough. So it keeps us chasing, and we chase through high achievement. Some of us are high achiever egos, and it is like, I'll feel fulfilled when. That was me kicking the can down the road, and I was tired of the chase. And this is a lot of my clients too, who are CEOs who are like, they're very successful people who say, I have achieved everything I ever wanted. Why am I still not happy? Well, it's because you've been living life from the outside in, and you're starting to recognize it, and awareness is painful. Let's do something about that. The next is the praiser, people who desire and really need to be praised by other people. They need people to tell them how great they are. That's a great idea. I love, like, they need the constant praise from other people, except when they get it, they reject it. If they get the compliment, they reject it. So it's kind of this push-pull. And then we have people pleasers, and these are the folks who are easily taken advantage of. They will sacrifice themselves for everybody else. They feel it is their job to keep everyone happy, and they make themselves miserable along the way. And their thought is, if I say no, I'm not valuable. If I'm not needed, I'm not valuable. And then there's perfectionist, and perfectionists have a way of developing these standards and these rules, these made up rules that they live by that drive them crazy. And it overwhelms them and it burns them out. And the standards are so high, they're never going to hit them, and neither is anybody else. And they're constantly disappointed in themselves and people around them. And if that ego is what's driving our external stuff, the reason we're also unfulfilled and burned out is because we've made that shit the cake. And the thing is, our relationship with ourself is the cake, but achieving and, being liked and, helping people and being a perfectionist, that is the icing. And so we really work with people deeply on that. How do we get you going there so that we cannot operate consciously and an ego at the same time?
So I'm sure, nothing would be better than all of our listeners reaching out and being like, let's go. But let's say for a minute, we can't, I'm time starved, Amy. Can you just give me one, get me started? I'm one of the 4 or 5, I'm the perfectionist or the people pleaser. Is there a common sort of, hey, here's where you start? Even if you just did this one thing, you're at least on your way.
I'll give you 2. Pop on the website. You can download, it's a free assessment. You download it, and then it gives you can take the assessment, and it will give you what are some good affirmations. I know affirmations seem cheesy, but honestly, it's part of rewiring our brain. And that's what we've got to do, is rewire some of what the ego is hardwired to. Number 1, a suggestion, give it a name.
Hold on. So I'll plug. I don't have a problem plugging.
Okay. Yeah.
theconscioushabit.com. So you go to theconscioushabit.com. Is it under resources?
Theconscioushabit.com. It should just pop up. It should say meet your inner roommate. And then that's how you'll get it. The email will be sent to you, and you can download, it's a very easy, based on Jungian principles for people who give a damn.
Okay. And then the second one you were saying was give it a name.
Give it a name. I call my ego Jerry, kind of a jackass. He's like a wiry dude, chain smokes Marlboro Reds for sure. It's definitely full flavored.
When does Jerry come out?
Sarcastic comment all the time. Jerry really comes out when people drive slow in the fast lane. Jerry has a heyday. When people are wasting time, when they're not moving fast enough, when, Jerry really, because Jerry loves to control too. So Jerry thinks everything needs to go my way to keep me happy, which honestly keeps us unhappy, because guess what? The world doesn't always work out the way we want it to every day. So I think give it a name. That allows you to see it as separate than you, because you are not your thoughts honestly don't mean anything. I love teaching people that most of your thoughts are, it's habitual crap that doesn't mean anything. But when we see that thinking, giving it a name makes us see like, oh, that's not Ryan. That's, Timmy or whatever the hell you want to call your ego. And we then can parent it differently, or we can lead it differently when we see it separate from us.
All right, if I do this, it's not going to like lead me down a slippery slope to schizophrenia, is it?
I don't think that's how that works.
Okay, just making sure.
Yeah.
Maybe I'd have to more courage to name my ego, right? All right, let's go back to my silly little game here. So let's say I'm listening to the Courageous podcast and Amy Woodall is my guest. What do I want everyone to take away?
I think that phrase, the root of result begins within, that's a powerful one. Just as a reflection of, if life isn't happening in a way that I love or like, it is a beautiful lesson. There is this is happening for a reason. What is happening within me that is creating this external experience? If we can all remember that, we can own our shit and we can be more conscious.
All right, well, one more. And by the way, I'm taking notes. There's so much good stuff here, good little nuggets. Let's say, another reason I'm sure we get along is because the role you play when you go on someone else's podcast is very different than the role you play when you have your own, right? Like when you have your own, my job is to get out of the way and, all right, maybe I'm the bumpers, the bowling bumpers, the guardrails, right? But like, I want people to get to know Amy Woodall. And I'm sure, and you've got something to share and something to say. And like, but if someone comes onto your podcast or someone's listening to your podcast, what do you want them to take away?
I think similar to you. I just think like an audience member. And, we have people who are teaching consciousness in different ways. To me, like being courageous helps people like consciously take a stance in that step. And so on the podcast, I hope people take away how they can be conscious in the various areas of life of the experts we've brought on, whether it's finances or relationships, business, all areas of life. We are whole humans. And so this conscious stuff isn't just for work or just for home, it's for everywhere.
All right. So what one project or goal that you've got, you can see it. Maybe it's not as close as you want it to be. Maybe it is close. Where you want to push your own boundaries of courage. And obviously this project clearly excites you. Can you share a little bit about that project?
Yeah. So it's getting a community up and going, conscious habit community. It's on the rise. It scares me a little bit because of what it's going to take, effort and all of that to get stood up. But we really want to create an environment where people who are doing this work can get together. High Vibe Tribe is like freaking amazing because of that, because we give women 7 days to like, holy shit, these are my people. I love these people. But I want that to happen outside of these one-time retreat. And I don't want it to just be exclusive to one gender. So I'm excited about that, all the content and the time and energy and effort it's going to take. But our goal, by the way, is to help make 1 million people more conscious in the world. We need a lot of avenues to do that and a lot more experts to do that too.
We haven't talked about High Vibe Tribes, so I don't want that to just sort of, just dance through someone's brain.
Yeah, we talked about that prior to pressing go, didn't we?
Yeah. What exactly is that?
It's a company I co-founded with Desiree Garcia, who she is on the podcast once a month. We co-host together. She's amazing. I love her. We host these annual retreats in high vibe locations around the world. So like we've been to the Blue Zone in Costa Rica, Tulum, Mexico, Sedona. We're going to this place called San Miguel de Allende, and we leave in a couple days. We spend 5 to 7 days doing yoga, meditation, deep transformation work, like letting stuff go and stepping into our highest best self and creating such incredible relationships. Like women come as strangers, leave as sisters. It's amazing. Love this work so much.
I don't know about this. Feels like something Jerry constructed.
It might be a cult. I don't know, but people love it. They want to come back. Call me Mother God. Did you?
I, I feel
Did
like
you watch that?
no. What is that? I don't know what that is. What's that?
It's a documentary that's out there called Mother God. It's pretty creepy. I don't,
Oh, okay.
yeah, yeah.
I'm like, I don't know. Abort. I'm out on the cultures. Uh, but let me get this straight. You're basically throwing like amazing retreats and amazing locations. That doesn't sound so bad.
It's not so bad. And you know what? Sometimes we have to do this thing called site visits. And on those site visits, sometimes we have to have like spa treatments to make sure the spa is legit. And it's actually pretty amazing work. And it's a gift to do this work because it does provide so much healing. And I lead the meditation, the breath work, the visualization. That's my jam. It's so good. And Des is like a gifted yoga teacher. And yeah, it's great. Great work.
Well, I think a pretty good place to possibly wrap up is let's use some of your language back on you.
Okay.
In terms of building the community. So the first thing that really landed for me was it's hard to see the picture when we're in the frame. So when you think of that and you think of the community you're building, what do you feel like you missed the first time around? Now you're like, oh, okay, I need to do blank.
To me, it's always find better who's because I can stumble a lot with hows. And it's just find somebody who's done it. I had a mentor who said it's better to imitate genius than reinvent mediocrity.
Mm.
And so imitate genius, hire really smart people. And I tend to to me, I'm a set the trap girl who's like, hey, if we're not bringing that money in financially, if it's a big spend, I'm going to commit to it and then I'm going to rise to the occasion. So they can be good traps to set. Good, risky, scary traps.
There's 3 of these, by the way. I don't know if I said that. So the second one that really landed with me was ownership, right?
Mm.
So what do you feel like, hey, I'm going to own this. I am getting in the way of blank.
For myself, right? That's the question. Reflect back on.
Totally.
Yeah. It's, the gift of people who are entrepreneurial minded means that we have 1,000 new thoughts a day. And it's very easy to get in the way of an idea that's down the path by coming up with ideation before it's necessary. And so I've really had to learn how to tame those tendencies. It's still not perfect, but again, get good people around you who will call you on your shit and be open to receiving it.
See, what I didn't tell you is like I'm getting a free training coaching session.
Yeah.
I feel I am coachable, by the way. That was another word, but I mean, my hope also, as I've just met so many amazing people that want to be brave or they're leaders, and the higher up in an organization they get, the more alone they feel, right? And so at some point I want to truly start building that community. I mean, we already are building the community, but I'm impressed by your ability to the retreats are happening, the events are happening. That's where I would like to take Courageous. So I'm learning, such good advice about, hey, you don't have to reinvent everything. Find people that have done this already and learn from them. Or, where do you have blinders, right? Where do you have blinders? And let's own my shit. Where am I getting in the way right now? Or what's the story I'm telling myself, right? Hey, there's one of the stories I'm telling myself right now is oh, well, I need the revenue at the level that I want it in order to invest in X, Y, or Z, right? And that's not just the job, but then it takes 100 days to collect. And so am I the problem? Am I the one that's in my own way? You're smiling, so I'm sensing you're understanding my pain here.
Yes. And there's always some truth in it. That's the thing is us learning how to take the emotional opinion out of whatever decisions that we make, because we can talk ourselves, our brain, I say this lovingly, is a little bitch. We can talk it in or out of anything. And its only job is to count the evidence we tell it to pay attention to. So if we're saying this is a bad idea, I can't do it, it says, okay, let me count the ways. And if we say, we're going to do it and we'll figure it out, it says, okay, let me count the ways. Now, of course, we do have things called families and mortgages and bills to pay that we have to we do have to be smart about it, but I think just recognizing, we can talk ourselves in or out of anything is helpful.
Although this isn't my third one, so there's one more. Okay. I am proud to report that I have my ego's name. Are you ready?
Yes, let's hear it.
Well, obviously it's going to be Igor. It's got to be.
I love it.
Right, but it's not spelled IGOR. It's EGO, Ego R, Ego Ryan, Igor.
Love it. Oh, that's so good.
And so I'm gonna stick with. Oh, Igor is the one that's trying to tell me I'm not ready for this yet. Come on, Igor.
Come on, bless his heart.
Yeah, doing what Igor does. All right, so this leads me to the last one. So, the root of result begins within. I think that's. So talk me through when you hear that, how does that land with you and how do you continue to like audit yourself?
Ooh, it's all the time. It really is. It is, because here's the thing about being an entrepreneur. I mentioned it's like a spiritual journey, but it's like you're lost and found and lost again and stuck and excited. And then like, there's such a bundle of emotions. And I think to know that whatever we're experiencing outside, like this feels hard, or I feel like it's stuck. It's like, okay, let's go. What's going on in here? What am I expecting to see? The eye see what the brain believes. What am I experiencing based on my belief system? And so it really, it forces you to have to look at your stuff. And I'm integrity is my number one value. If something is not in alignment with integrity, I can smell it a mile away, but I don't want to be that. So I have to be practicing. I have to be the one who's owning my shit, looking at my stuff, being more conscious. Otherwise, who the hell's going to want to learn from me? So all the time, every day, 1,000,000 times a day.
Love it. All right. So folks, one, as a man who has an ego named Igor, I'm looking forward to learning how you grow the community. It feels like something a guy like me would want to be a part of. I know it's just for women for now, but keep us posted.
The community's open for everybody, so you are welcome. And we should definitely talk more about that.
All right, so I can high vibe. Is what you're saying?
You can conscious habit, and then there'll be a separate high vibe.
Okay,
we'll figure out how to get you in, shave your leg, something like that.
All right, great, perfect. Just what I was looking for. Igor is going to love that. By the way, I've been talking to Amy Woodall. Check her out, theconscioushabit.com. Lots of good resources for you too to start working on yourself. I love the idea of just like one little thing. Start with one little thing. It sounds like the resource you have when people go to the website is a great place to start. But how do you want to wrap today? If people have hung around for the pod, and again, let me know if I've missed anything. I mean, you're consulting with companies and leaders. You've got. You're available for keynotes. You got your pod. You've got retreats. I mean, it feels like all of the above. Am I getting that right?
All of the above. You've got it. Yep.
How do you want to wrap today?
Well, thanks for listening. I think I would love to connect with you. I mean, if there's something you're like, man, this conscious stuff is interesting. I'm a LinkedIn girly. That is my place. I try to put a video out weekly, and really give content. I want to put as much out there as I possibly can. So I encourage you, come find me.
Go find her on LinkedIn, everybody. Thank you so much for joining, Amy.
Thank you.
I'll see you soon. I can't wait. Igor and I cannot. Is it one ticket or do I have to pay for two?
We'll count it as one.
Take care. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of the Courageous Podcast. If you enjoy the show, don't forget to rate and review us on Apple Podcasts so more people can find us. See you again next week.